Joy News.
Alright, it's time for Joy News Interactive, and Aisha is here. She's going to be taking a story. Good evening to you, Aisha.
Good evening, Israel. Good to see you again.
Yep.
And it's time to get interactive. Join the conversation via our social media platforms, as on Facebook.com /Joy News on TV, and on Twitter at Joy News on TV, and on WhatsApp the number is 0560-800,000. Please send your name, location when sending that message, and please don't go. So now that you have all your gadgets, let's get talking, and the bigger conversation will be interesting tonight. Now, a 43-year-old man who impregnated his stepdaughter during a 3-year sexual abuse is walking a free man after he was defended by his wife. The victim, who was forced to abort the pregnancy, had reported the abusive conduct to the Mankransu police in the Ashanti region, but the accused had a strong defense from his wife. So the question is simple: what kind of punishment would you prescribe or mete out to such a person who commits such a grave offense?
No, why? No, why? What is the connection? Why should you sleep with your daughter? How? So they just have to castrate you, I think so, yeah. They just have to. Or maybe they have to jail you. Yeah. If they can't, then they have to jail. You have to. Oh, forever. Forever, yeah, straight. Because you don't have to sleep with your daughter. Yeah, that's what I think. I wouldn't do that. Yeah, for you, like with anyone else, I could.
Fathers who sleep with their children, if I'm a judge, it's not right to sleep with your child. So if I'm a judge, what I would do is I would take you to rehab to check your brain. Maybe you have some mental problem, or you have some psychology problem where they have to fix it, because it's not normal to sleep with your own child, you know. Or perhaps if you come to the rough way, I will take you to somewhere. Maybe they have to give you some 30,000 lashes, or take you to some pastor to pray for you.
As a lady, it's very, very sad for me to know. So I think he should just be given life imprisonment or something. I mean, with hard labor, he should really suffer, because I mean, I've heard that sex, I mean, is very painful, and then for his child, I'm sure maybe 18 years, 19 years will be painful, and now she's pregnant, and now he has like ruined her whole life. So then I think he should go life in prison. He should suffer in prison, so he will not do it to other people. She's happy that he's away. I mean, seeing him around will even scare her, because those things really scare people. So if he's away, and then if other people hear of it, to deter them from going to do those kind of things. So, yeah.
I would just maybe give the person 10 years imprisonment. 10 years, right? Because if I give the guy maybe 20 years, who is going to work and look after the child? So I will just give that person 10 years or maybe 15. After he goes to the prison and come back, he will learn something from the prison.
Others who sleep with their daughters, I call them dogs. So why would the father want to sleep with a daughter? So if a dog can do such a thing, I mean, he goes to life imprisonment. I mean, that's very simple.
Would you think so?
I think so, because I don't understand why if you live with your daughter from childhood, and then when she grows up, you start having sexual appetite on the girl. I mean, what sort of nonsense is that? I mean, they should go to life imprisonment, and when they are dead, they are dead life, and they have to suffer for the rest of their life. Others, fathers will realize, hey, if I should do such a thing, I'm caught. That is where I belong.
So we can hear the victim now recounting her ordeal.
19-year-old Nana, as we call her for the purpose of this report, says her ordeal began when her mother traveled to Tepa for a funeral.
Someone woke me up at midnight after the lights went off and held my hand, but I was able to free myself and went to take a torchlight, but the person had run away by the time I returned.
Later, when she managed to lay hands on a torchlight, stepfather came to ask for toilet roll and found condom on the ground. He accused her of allowing somebody in to have sex with her. When she denied, he dragged her to his room under the guise of conducting vaginal search if she had had sex with anybody. In the process, he forcibly had sex with her.
At first, he used his hands to enter my private part and later used his manhood.
Subsequently, the man slept with her many times without her mother knowing, even in instances when she was home.
Sometimes he leaves me with 60 Ghana cedis and sometimes 120 Ghana cedis. 1.2.
She initially reported the matter to the Mankrasu police station, but the mother intervened.
My mother said she hasn't informed any family member, so it will be a disgrace. So she told the Mankrasu police. My father has been arrested by Tepa police.
Nana alleges her stepfather gets angry with her whenever he finds her with male friends. Akwesi also admits the act but says it was once. We had sex only once and not the 10 times she's talking about. He says he's prepared to perform the rituals. For Joy News, Kwesi Debra.
Interesting.
What a story. And apparently this stepdad actually admits that indeed.
And the mother doesn't want the stepdad to be disgraced, so she wants some rituals or something done so that the matter will be settled.
I can't imagine.
And then she can go back to the same man.
Exactly. Is this mother going to continue to live with this man who's had sexual relations with her daughter?
That's the mystery I'm also trying to solve now. Let's see some messages coming on Facebook.
Right, people are outraged on Facebook. I'll go to Nuruddin, who says castrate and jail him for life. Just 20 Ghana cedis can. He says just 20 Ghana cedis can get you and a shower, essentially a prostitute. So why your daughter? Jah forgive us all though. And GH Dagati says I would ask for hysterectomy or bilateral tubal ligation for the mother who does that, and if father does that, I will prescribe vasectomy. Prince Nuruddin says the punishment is to allow the parent to marry his or her ward, period. And Yakubu, even Chamba, says, I would allow the burden of guilt and shame to wear him down till God makes the ultimate judgment someday. John Paul says, I will free her simply because these days ladies are threatening to disgrace men in public if they don't have sexual affairs with them. But here's a case where the guy has actually admitted. Schiffman says he did it because the child isn't his real daughter. Frankly, in such cases, I think castration is the best punishment for such a zip-loading guy and shameless rapist. Somebody says he should be injected with acid.
Into your retro. This one didn't add his name. He says they should give him life imprisonment. Edwin from Tardy says the man should be castrated and allowed to work as a free person. This coming from Solomon from Akimoda. He says sleeping with my own child, Abba, even my sister cry will be difficult for me. In fact, I can't get any feelings for her. God have mercy. Ghana, the environment changes the innocent souls. And it's coming from Mani Solomon from Akim Oda. From Nana in Accra, she says, I can't fathom what defense, however strong, could exonerate a man from a crime like that unless it wasn't rape. If it was indeed rape, the laws of the land should apply. This sickening act must stop, but in the end, external judgment awaits. I'm so upset though. And that's coming from Nana inside Accra. From Sumaila in Prestia, he says, in my humble opinion, I suggest life imprisonment because it's full of madness. Bush stepfather. And that's coming from Sumaila. From Papa Tieku from Koforidua, he says the stepfather's behavior is preposterous, unscrupulous, and ridiculous. He needs to go to jail. And that's coming from Papa Tieku from Koforidua. You didn't add your name. He says wonder shall never end. This man should be sentenced to 5 years. Oh, that's 5 years. This coming from who? Abdullah. I think you want to say Abdullah from Kokum. No, 5 years is not enough. I think you should add more. And for me, in Akumadan, he says, this man has done it wrong. It is called Kania Kaba or something. Well, that's the message is coming in. This one says, have sex with your daughter is illness, and it's coming from Manuel Deborah from Angel FM. Schiffman from Matumsu says he did it because the child isn't his real daughter. Frankly, in such cases, I think castration is the best punishment for such a zip-loading guy and a shameless rapist. Hashtag good father behavior. And that's from Schiffman from Matumsu. And those were some of your messages coming. Let's get on to another interesting issue. The General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Pastor Enoch A. Adebayo, is advising male members of his church not to marry certain kinds of women in quote. The pastor, who spoke with conviction during his Sunday service, said based on his vast experience in dealing with several couples in his church, he knew the right kind of girls to marry. Well, in a video circulating on social media, he cautioned his congregants on the type of women they should not marry. One of such women who cannot pray and are non-stop. So we put a simple question and a very fine one. How would you measure your partner's level of spirituality before marriage?
People go to church, they have a particular behavior that they put up for the whole congregation to see them to be that kind of holy person. But once the person is out of the place, it's a different situation altogether. So it might not really be, the person being in church all the time, probably being in a choir, being a part of the women fellowship or men fellowship or the youth fellowship or whatever that makes the person, very holy and all of that. But it all depends on how, personally the person, goes about doing things. So I think getting to know about the spirituality of the woman I want to marry, I need to take into consideration the kind of lifestyle she put up or he put up. Let me take it on the point of view of the women. Yeah, he or she puts up when the person is alone.
I think my partner should be very, very spiritual, but I don't think being very spiritual means like you should pray more than 1 hour or something. I don't believe in that. I think you getting closer to God doesn't mean you should pray for more than an hour. It could be, maybe you can pray for 5 minutes, but it should be very spiritual, closer to God. It brings luck to the relationship. That's what I think. Yeah.
I don't have a specific percentage, but I think you should just love God and then do the right thing. He shouldn't be wayward. He should believe in God, believe in Jesus, and then he should be willing to do the right thing, read his Bible, but not like up to the top where he can't even maybe sleep with me because Jesus, he has to go somewhere. He has to have time. He has to have time for the family. But he should just love God and do the right thing, I think. Yeah.
I don't really have a percentage, but the person should just be humble, respectful, and it doesn't really mean that when you are prayerful, you go to church always, you'll be a good wife. It starts from home, what your parents taught you and what you also learned whilst growing up. Yeah, even those in church are very wicked, and even those you think, those in church, you can't really judge. The person should just be respectful and humble.
Interesting comments coming from the streets of Accra. Let's see what people are saying on Facebook.
On Facebook, so Kotodero says it's an advice for lazy women who can't cook or pray and going around looking for husbands. And when situations come, they stand and pray their way out, which will lead to divorce. Francis Sanochi says any woman who can gossip for more than 1 hour but can't say just a thank you God every morning is a devil's next of kin. Women of today think the men are looking at the artificial makeup housings, which make them look like kai. A virtuous woman is what we desire, one that fears the Lord and knows how to prevent by teaching men how to bridle their tongue. Papa Sam says, please be careful you don't attack this great man of God because of this falsehood. I watched the video and I can see that the media is trying to misunderstand the man of God. Shift Mano says this advice is unbiblical, so the pastor should come again. What's the need for the Bible to advise couples to be each other's helper? Like seriously, this pastor needs counseling. Brutal. John Paul says, no wonder nowadays pastoral service is no more a calling. please ask the pastor he can pray, if he can pray for 30 minutes.
Why not?
I never would take that into consideration. He should read the book of Matthew and stop deceiving us. And Noah Bete says he advises male church members, and I think it's okay. And Godwin Fiona says, Joy News is singling out only one point, quote everything he said, please, Abba. Those are your comments on Facebook.
But at least he didn't say that the pastor did not say that. He's saying that we singled out that portion. So he said it, and that's what we are interested in. So if a woman cannot pray, I think there are women who can pray for 2 hours but are very evil in their house. All that. And if I can stand and be shouting, I mean, how do you know my conversation with God? I mean, it's kind of baffling. But let's look at some messages coming. This coming from Jacob from Navrunga. He says, being spiritual doesn't mean one should spend hours in prayer, but be strong in faith in God, and of course watchful. Few words from a strong faith can reach God than an uncountable words from a faithless mouth. I think I agree with you, Jacob. The same point I was trying to make. And this coming from Zainab Bolga, she says, it depends on the behavior of my partner. If he is of good behavior, surely he is a God-fearing man. And that's coming from Zainab. This one says, if this was Councillor Richard, Ghanaians would have been condemning him by now. Fortunately, it's not coming from Councillor Richard, so save your condemnation. And this comes from Oscar from Chamba. He says, spirituality may not rest solely on the length or duration of one's prayer, but purely on the belief in the. And Oscar, I think you're making a very good point. Someone can pray for a few minutes and he or she is good, while the one who prays for hours can be very dangerous. I think you're making. And then, okay, my last comment from Ray from Laura is this: praying for long hours doesn't make you spiritual or spiritually inclined. And those are some of the comments coming on our WhatsApp platform. Now, Kumchacha has descended on Councillor George Richard. He says the controversial relationship counselor needs deliverance. And my name's yes, This video has been trending, and it's got a lot of people talking on WhatsApp. Let me take few comments from here. Shiftman says, I agree with Kumchacha. Papati Eku says, Kumchacha blast wa. And this one says, spirituality is outer expression of inner relationship with God. This from Mustafa from Mampong Ashanti. That's all. Draw the curtains and Joy News Interactive. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Bye bye.
Well, that'll be all for joining us Prime for tonight. For more news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com. There are a number of interesting stories there. You can get to read more about the EC extending the registration exercise for those who's registered with the NHIS card, and a few other stories. So until tomorrow, my name is Ozola. You have a good night.
This is Joy.